Okay, let's dive right into this and unravel a bit of a medical mystery today. Have you ever wondered why so many people are just walking around with unexplained, constant fatigue? Or maybe they have these intense, completely uncontrollable sugar cravings that just seem to hit out of nowhere? Well, welcome to this comprehensive 12-minute video explainer where we are going to pack in absolutely all the information you need to uncover the truth. We're going to look straight at a silent invader hiding inside the body, understand exactly how it operates, and most importantly, figure out how to kick it out for good. Think of this as your personal medical roadmap. We're going to quickly hit 6 key stages. First, identifying the hidden enemy. Then we'll look at leaky gut, go over the key symptoms, figure out how to diagnose the infection, unpack the really frustrating link between Candida and weight gain, and finally, wrap up with the exact elimination protocol. Step 1, the hidden enemy. Let's officially identify our primary suspect. Let me ask you something, and hey, be completely honest with yourself here. Do you get uncontrollable sugar cravings? Have you ever had that irresistible, almost desperate urge for sweets or heavy carbs, especially late at night? Now, I don't want you to frame this as a lack of willpower. Actually, look at it as a crucial piece of behavioral evidence, because get this, it might not even be you craving that sugar. Enter our suspect, Candida. Now, this is a type of fungus that usually lives perfectly peacefully inside you. Honestly, you've got 10 times more bacteria and microorganisms in your body than human cells. You're basically a walking ecosystem. But here's the catch. Our modern habits give this normally harmless fungus the absolute perfect environment to just multiply out of control. Things like a super high-carb diet, drinking too much alcohol, or dealing with a compromised immune system from chronic stress, long-term medications, or even oral contraceptives. All of that tips the scales. It wipes out the good guys and lets Candida completely take over the neighborhood. And here is a totally counterintuitive plot twist for you. We're always told, right, to eat healthy fermented foods like kombucha, kefir, or sauerkraut to get our probiotics. But if you already have an active Candida overgrowth, eating those foods actually feeds the enemy instead of fighting it. Throwing more yeast and bacteria into a gut that's already dominated by fungus, well, it's literally like throwing gasoline on a fire. Step 2, leaky gut. Now we need to look at exactly how this fungus attacks. The mechanics of this biological break-in are kind of terrifying. The real danger with Candida is that it's a literal shapeshifter. When your gut environment gets hostile, Candida actually changes its physical form. It stretches out into this elongated shape, almost like a microscopic spear, and it uses that spear to physically puncture your intestinal wall. This creates a condition called leaky gut. So suddenly, the totally secure border of your digestive tract is breached, and toxins, undigested food particles, and viruses just flood straight into your bloodstream. So, what's the fallout? Well, as these foreign invaders constantly leak into your blood, your immune system essentially goes on red alert. It attacks and destroys them, which is great. But if it has to do this every single day, your immune system becomes totally exhausted. That triggers chronic, widespread inflammation. And eventually, your confused, overworked immune system actually starts attacking your own body, which is the foundational trigger for a whole host of autoimmune diseases. Step 3, the key symptoms. Let's follow the physical trail this overgrowth leaves behind. Because Candida enters your bloodstream and can travel literally anywhere in your body, the symptoms are all over the map. We're talking autoimmune diseases, skin issues like eczema, total digestive chaos like severe bloating and constipation. Mentally, it causes heavy brain fog, chronic fatigue, and this totally unjustified irritability. You might get anal or vaginal itching, frequent UTIs, or suddenly realize your seasonal allergies are way worse than normal. And hey, there's that intense craving for sweets and carbs again. That craving is actually the parasite chemically modifying your brain's behavior to secure its own food supply. It's essentially microscopic mind control. Step 4, how to diagnose the infection. So, how do we actually catch this culprit on paper? You do have a few options here, but they aren't all created equal. Doctors can run blood tests to look for antibodies, specifically IgM for a current fight and IgG for a past one. But remember how we just talked about Candida exhausting your immune system? Well, if your immune system is totally depleted, it might not even produce enough antibodies to trigger the test. You get a false negative. You might also just see a drop in your total white blood cell count. Because of those false negatives, getting a stool test is often the superior route. It catches the overgrowth much more reliably. Oh, and there's also a urine test that checks for a specific toxin called arabidopol, which Candida turns out in excess. But hey, if you want to try something right away, I've got a quirky, slightly gross, but absolutely fascinating at-home experiment you can do tomorrow morning. As soon as you wake up, before you eat or even brush your teeth, spit into a clear glass of water. Then just watch it for a few minutes. Normal saliva will just float, but if you see these weird leg-like filaments extending down into the water, or if your saliva sinks right to the bottom, that is physical evidence that Candida is likely hanging out in your mouth and throat. Now, it's not a perfect medical test, obviously, but it is a really great early clue. Step 5. Candida and weight gain. This brings us to one of the absolute most frustrating side effects of this whole ordeal. 79. I want you to remember that number. That is the exact number of different toxins that an active Candida overgrowth continuously dumps into your bloodstream 24 hours a day. Two of the biggest offenders are ethanol and acetaldehyde. Fun fact, acetaldehyde is actually one of the main toxins that gives you a hangover. So this fungus is essentially giving your body a mini hangover all day, every day, messing with your nerves and heavily impacting your metabolism. It creates this devastating domino effect that leads straight to weight gain. First, those 79 toxins are constantly released. Second, your poor liver tries to process all of them, and it just gets totally overwhelmed. When the liver gets backlogged like that, it starts storing those toxins in your fat cells. Third, studies show that this massive toxic burden actually causes your thyroid gland to slow down. And finally, step 4, with a sluggish thyroid and a tapped-out liver, your metabolism just crashes. The result? Rapid, incredibly stubborn weight gain. Step 6, the elimination protocol. We know the enemy, we know its crimes, so let's talk about how to banish it permanently. The game plan is a clear 3-part treatment protocol. Number 1, a low glycemic diet. Number 2, biofilm-destroying supplements. And number 3, repopulating your gut with massive volume probiotics. Now, let's be super clear. Step 1 is non-negotiable. You literally cannot take supplements while eating a bowl of ice cream. The fungus will just immediately grow right back. You have to starve the enemy first with a really strict diet, 0 refined sugars, and usually, you even have to cut out fruit entirely during the initial elimination phase. Next up, you bring in the weapons. Now, Candida is smart. It builds this tough physical barrier around its colonies called a biofilm to protect itself. You have to break down that shield before you can even touch the fungus. That's exactly why you need targeted supplements like caprylic acid, cellulase, and protease to dissolve those walls. Once the shield is down, the natural antifungals can sweep in. We're talking thyme oil, garlic extract, oregano oil, and black cumin, which is an incredibly powerful antifungal. It's actually been used for this kind of thing since the days of King Tut. Finally, once you've cleared out the bad guys, you have to immediately reclaim that territory so they don't just move right back in. And there is a massive exception to the normal rules here. Usually, for general gut health, you want a probiotic with tons of diversity, lots of different bacterial strains. But during a Candida protocol, the rule completely flips. You want quantity over diversity. You need to drop massive, overwhelming numbers of just a few strong bacterial strains, literally in the billions, into your gut to rapidly occupy the space and just crowd out any surviving fungus. So there you have it. Over the course of this explainer, we've broken down all the info, from spotting the hidden symptoms of this biological warfare to the exact 3-step protocol you need to fight back and win. I want to leave you with one final thought. What step are you going to take today to reclaim your gut health and evict this hidden enemy? Are you going to try that water test tomorrow morning? Maybe cut out the sugar that's fueling the cravings? You now have the exact knowledge you need to get your energy back and prevent long-term disease. The investigation is officially complete, so the next move is entirely yours.